The curse, the contract, and the comeback. Jorge Martin versus Aprilia, Silverstone fallout. Ladies and gentlemen, MotoGP is a sport of speed, of split-second reactions, of brutal highs and punishing lows. But sometimes, the biggest crashes don't happen on track. Sometimes they happen behind the closed doors of a race trailer, in the silence of a tense paddock, in the cold echo of a corporate press release. Welcome to Silverstone. Welcome to the boiling point of a storm that's been building in whispers for weeks. Jorge Martin, Aprilia, the contract, the curse. This is the story you weren't supposed to see unfold like this, but it did, and it's far from over. If you're not on the grid, but you feel the tremors, something's cooking. That's where we begin. When you're injured, when you're off the grid, when you're sidelined, it's easy to feel forgotten. But in MotoGP, silence doesn't protect you. Sometimes silence drags you into the fire. That's exactly what happened to Jorge Martin. He hasn't raced since the first round of the 2025 season. Injuries have kept the reigning world champion away. But the spotlight? Oh, that stayed right on him. While recovering from multiple fractures and missing round after round, Martin found himself in every headline. But not for his comeback, not for his rehabilitation, not for his title defense. Instead, for a contract crisis. One that could change the balance of power in MotoGP. The breakup nobody asked for, but everyone felt coming. The bombshell dropped right after the French Grand Prix. Motorsport.com reported that Jorge Martin, yes, the reigning world champion, was looking to break his contract with Aprilia, the same contract he signed after being passed over by Ducati, the same deal that made him the centerpiece of Aprilia's factory future. And now, rumors said he was ready to quit. Why? Because of a performance clause buried in that contract. Sources claimed Martin was not convinced by the RSGP's competitiveness. Not after just one race, not even at full fitness. He reportedly gave Aprilia an extension to prove themselves, until September. But if the bike didn't deliver, he wanted out. And where would he go? Whispers swirled, Honda. Yes, the team Marc Marquez left in 2023, the one desperate for a new hero. That's when the silence turned into a roar. Aprilia responds, cold, clear, and corporate. Just days before Silverstone, Aprilia finally answered. Not through press leaks, not through paddock whispers, but through a statement colder than a British summer night. The contract between Aprilia Racing and Jorge Martin is valid and in effect, and as such, it must be respected by both parties until its expiration, end of 2026. No negotiations. No escape clause acknowledgement. No drama, at least not officially, but beneath the polished words, there was a line in the sand. Aprilia wasn't blinking. Not now. Not even for the reigning world champion. They denied any discussions about breaking or modifying the deal. They also sent a warning shot to rival teams, hands off our rider. It was the first public defense of their integrity since the rumors exploded. And just like that, the war of words had begun. Jorge Martin breaks his silence without saying a word. While Aprilia went full legal, Martin chose something more emotional. He posted on social media, "This comeback is personal." That was it. 6 words, no clarification, no denial, just raw emotion and intent. Was it a warning? A declaration? A distraction? Nobody knew, but everyone felt the weight. Pecco Bagnaia enters the chat. Then came the one man who knows Martin better than anyone else. Francesco Bagnaia, the man who beat him to the 2023 title and lost to him in 2024. Now, teammates with Marc Marquez at Ducati, a man in a very different reality. Pecco didn't mince his words. If you sign something, you must respect it. He compared it to marriage, to commitment, to principle. Bagnaia acknowledged the modern chaos of social media, but stood by the old-school racer's code. Respect the paper you signed. And when asked about Marc Marquez, who famously exited his Honda deal early to join Gresini in 2024, Pecco didn't flinch. It's not correct to exit from it. If you sign a contract, you must respect it. The subtext? Loud and clear. Even the greatest of this generation, Marquez, shouldn't have broken the chain. So where does that leave Martin? Silverstone, the race. Jorge Martin didn't attend, but still lost. Now we shift to Silverstone, the 7th round of the 2025 season. Martin wasn't there, still healing, still recovering, still watching. But Aprilia? Aprilia showed up, big time, because Marco Bezzecchi, yes, the man who took Martin's spot after leaving VR46, took the Aprilia to victory. His first win for the Noali factory, a ride from deep in the grid, a dominant display, a slap of reality. This wasn't just about points, this was about optics. This was Aprilia saying, "We can win without you." Massimo Rivola's ice-cold mic drop. After the race, Aprilia CEO Massimo Rivola walked into the press room. No fireworks, no emotions, just precision. "This is a message to Jorge. Our bike can win." That was it. A dagger of a sentence. And then I'm super happy for the Noali guys. They never gave up. They kept motivation high. They believed in the job. And the kicker? The best way we can respond is on the track. Aprilia didn't just defend their contract. They brought results. Marco Bezzecchi's win didn't just lift spirits. It lit a fire. The curse of the #1 plate or the curse of doubt? Let's step back. Jorge Martin is the reigning world champion. The man who dethroned Bagnaia in 2024, the man Aprilia bet everything on. And yet, he hasn't finished a race since round 1. He hasn't been on the RSGP long enough to understand its true potential. But already, he's doubting. Already, he's watching it win without him. The pressure? Unbearable. The whispers? Loud. Even his old rival is telling him to stay loyal. But what does Martin do now? Return to a garage where his teammate Bezzecchi just made history? Return to a team that publicly shut down any talk of a breakup? Return to a factory that just proved they don't need him to win? What now? What next? Jorge Martin is expected to return around the German Grand Prix in July. And when he does, he won't be walking into the same Aprilia he left. This isn't the Aprilia that begged him to join. This is a team with a win in their pocket and a point to prove. The dynamic will be tense. The trust? Shaky. The headlines? Unforgiving. And what if the performance clause is real? What if he can leave? There's no Ducati seat. There's no Yamaha future. KTM is full. Honda? Perhaps. But would they even be ready for a title-winning project? Or would Jorge Martin go from champion to refugee? Conclusion. When loyalty becomes a question, silence is a weapon. This is MotoGP 2025, a season where the reigning champion becomes the villain in his own redemption arc, where Aprilia answers accusations not with words, but with wins, where Bezzecchi rises, Bagnaia scolds, and Marquez watches from across the aisle. Jorge Martin didn't crash at Silverstone, but his story did, and when he returns, one question will haunt the paddock. Will Jorge Martin ride to defend a crown or escape a kingdom he no longer believes in? Thank you for watching. This is not over, not by a long shot. The summer break is near, and when Jorge Martin returns,